Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's V8. I'm tapping back into the network. Just did a couple of mods wanted to share with you. Starting with the tires. This is a different tire setup since the last video. Those last 205 50-15s were just too low with not enough sidewall. So I upped it to a 225 60-15, and I like these a lot better. This is a 3-finger gap in the front, 3-finger gap in the rear, and I don't mind that because these are the smallest, lightest tires that I could use without sacrificing ride quality. So these are the smallest tires that don't scrape on everything. Well, when I pulled out of my garage with those older tires, I actually scraped my Y-pipe on the ledge where the garage goes down to the driveway. So I never want to hear that sound again, so I had to get the bigger tires. But yeah, I'm really happy with these. Same exact brand, just a little bit bigger. And I think it looks incredible. This is lowered 6.5 inches now. The last setup it was lowered 7 inches, but it was just too low. It was dangerous. But yeah, it looks really good. Probably the best it's ever looked with these 15x7 Echo rims. And the next thing I want to show you is why this is the lightest this Jeep has ever been. Is because I got the quick disconnect for the subwoofers. So right now they're out. And I didn't weigh them, but it's got to be around 100 pounds because the amplifier and the capacitor are both still attached to the subwoofer, so all that weight has been removed. So right now, as it sits, I'm pretty sure we got it down to about 3750. It might be plus or minus 10, but yeah, we're sitting right at 3750, maybe 3760. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. It's definitely the quickest it's ever been, the lightest it's ever been, and the best looking it's ever been, with a 15-inch rim. Of course, my all black deep dish 18x9 Cobra rims look better because they're gloss black and they fill up the wheel well completely. But I don't know, man, I prefer the 15-inch rims. They're smaller, lighter, and these Echo rims, in my opinion, look better than the Canyon rims. These rims are the closest rim to a 5.9 Ultra Star, but you know, these are smaller and lighter, so I prefer these. Really happy with it. This is how I always dreamed of it. Always wanted it to look like this. Always wanted to sit like that. And I always wanted a gutted interior. And it's pretty much gutted except for the door panels, carpet. I could still remove the AC, but probably gonna leave that because it still works. But yeah, man, I'm really happy with the setup right now. I'm very pleased. Never been happier. Pop the hood real quick for the people that are new. It's pretty empty in here. Nothing's changed on the engine. Still a 5.2 318 bored 40 over to a 5.3. It's about 326 cubic inch, 324.5 to be exact, but it's got heads, cam, intake, exhaust, full bolt-ons. This thing's a party animal. There's nothing left to do to it while still being NA, other than forged internals or a stroker kit, but it's still a pretty fresh setup. I think the bottom end only has about 8,000 miles on it, and the heads cam setup only has about 5,000 miles on it. So since I built it in 2012, I have not driven it that much, because I like to preserve old vintage vehicles like this, because you don't really see too many of these anymore, especially in this condition and this heavily modified. Also, I'd like to point out that this Jeep has the only set of Cook's long tube headers ever made for a ZJ. That's in the entire world. These are one-off headers. They never made long tube headers for a ZJ because there's really not much room and there's not a lot of clearance underneath. If you want to pull your oil pan out, you can't. You'd have to pull the whole exhaust off and the Y pipe to pull the oil pan out. Also, one of the header tubes on the passenger side kind of gets in the way of being able to remove your oil filter while it's on the ground. You really need a lift because the headers are in the way. Other than that, it's a really stout setup. It's estimated around 360 to 380 to the crank, and maybe around, I don't know, 290 to 310 horsepower to the wheels. Might be more, might be less, I don't know. I never got it dynoed. But it's right around 300 to the wheel. It's a pretty safe bet, because I've seen other similar setups and they said 380 crank and 320 wheels, so I'll just go with that. This is still a four-wheel drive Grand Cherokee. I did the transfer case swap so I could switch from four-wheel drive to rear-wheel drive. Also has Hurst line lock for doing burnouts, and it also has MSD digital two-step, as well as the whole MSD ignition. It's got Harlan Sharp 1.7 roller rockers in there. You can see the orange. Yeah, I'm really happy with the setup. I love this Jeep. Never been happier with it. Always wanted it to be like this. Definitely the quickest and lightest naturally aspirated 5.2 ZJ on the planet, if I'm not mistaken. I've just never seen another one that's more modified or lighter. And yeah, man, that's pretty much it.